I'm gonna start on a tattoo tray. Someone hit me up on Instagram and wanted me to do my thing on it, so here we go. First thing I'm gonna do is hit this with some 400. It is made out of stainless, so I'm gonna sand it all down, front and back, all the corners, edges, with 400 grit, and then hit it with some epoxy primer. After getting it a good sanding with the 400, getting it nice and, actually it was 320 on this with the stainless, I got it wiped down, wax and grease remover, and now I hit it with 2 coats of Eurachem's metallic silver. I let that silver sit for about an hour. When I mix my flake, I do it in intercoat clear using a medium reducer. Just today it's about 80, and I go ahead, I like to use one of these cups here. This is a 3M, doesn't need to be 3M. And basically just because it's so messy and it's just easy cleanup. So when you put the lid on, make sure you tear out the screen, otherwise you're not gonna spray anything out of there flake-wise. And you can, some people use regular clear. I don't suggest it. When you shoot regular clear, your flakes are gonna flow out. Just like the clear flows out after it sits, your flake's gonna flow out and it's gonna be flat. So you wanna use intercoat clear. I use it 1-to-1. Which sounds crazy, but you just want it basically just to stick on there, and then you're gonna drown it in clear, regular clear. Lowrider Paint Masters Flake from Tropical Glitz. When you're mixing it in, stirring it in, don't pour it all at once. You want your stick, if you want full coverage, which with larger flake, you definitely are probably gonna want full coverage, otherwise it's gonna look like silver speckles. If you go with a lighter coverage, not full, you'll wanna use a smaller flake. So your stick, you can see it here, should be covered underneath. When you first pull it out, it should be totally covered. 2 coats on here, fully flaked. Now I'm gonna hit it with 3 coats of high solids clear. I'm using Eurachem clear. Both sides, fully flaked. The bottom, we're just gonna hit with some candy with 1 solid color since it won't really be seen too much. The top, we're gonna do some nice sweet patterns. But first, before we can do any of that, we're definitely gonna need to sand this flat with some 400. Got it all sanded down. That candy canvas is ready, nice and flat with that 400 grit sandpaper. Got it waxed and greased, clean, ready to lay some tape. First thing we're gonna do is let's get that center line lined out. To get my center, I'll just take a piece of tape here on the bottom on one side where I'm gonna start the line, tape it all the way across. And then do the same thing here on the top, tape it across, and then pull it back and end it right there on the end. And then I'll put my thin piece of tape right here along the center. There's that center line. Now we're ready to get this pattern started. First thing I'll do is get the pattern the way I want it on one side. So we'll get it all done on one side, and then we'll copy it over to the second side. Got the basic design all laid out here. And now let's get it transferred over and add them details. Roll of transfer tape here, Tape Man Blue, 12 inches by 50 feet, I believe. You can find that on eBay, it's like 25 bucks. I tape it right here on the center line, or right over the center line. And sticky side up, it's a low tack transfer tape, so you don't have to worry about when you flip it over on the other side, you don't have to worry about it sticking on there and leaving a residue. So once you tape it on here, you're gonna want some markers, like right here. Oh, right here is where it's gonna end, or you can just match up your little connecting points here in the middle of your graphics. So you'll go use a regular ballpoint pen, go on each side of the tape, trace it out. Don't worry about it popping off because that's not really gonna matter once we transfer it. So let's get it flipped over here. Got her all flipped around, sticky side down. And if you look close here, you can see it is just about perfectly matched up. You are going to want to start here in the middle, closest to your center, and then you will cut it out and work your way out. And that will make it the easiest way to, that way you don't have little patches everywhere and you don't have this transfer tape in your way as you're doing it. As you can see up here, you're just using this as a guide. It's not going to be perfect and perfectly symmetrical. The part you're going to want to concentrate on is right here where it connects in the center. you're going to want to make sure that those lines are as close as possible, and then follow your way out. The further it gets out, the less noticeable any imperfections will be. As you're dragging this X-Acto knife or razor blade, you're barely going to want to put any pressure on it. The blade, make sure you got a new one with each project, is going to do all the work for you. You're barely going to drag it along your line here, just like that. And if you drag it too deep, you're going to cut into your clear that you shot over your flake, and it's going to gouge it, and then the candy will seep into that, and you'll notice it real strong, and it won't look very good at all, and there won't be any way to fix it. So make sure you're just barely dragging the X-Acto knife along this transfer tape. When you are pulling this vinyl tape, that you put it down where you want it. Try to stay out of your angle here, and you barely set it down. You don't want to stretch it to make it tight. Yeah, that would make it a lot easier if you could do that. But if you stretch it and then put it down, so I tap it down and then go over it. If you stretch it and put it down, and then you put these connecting pieces on it, as soon as that tape starts to sit there for a while and you walk away or you get ready to paint, that tape is going to separate on the edges, and then you'll have little gaps. And worse, if you don't notice it, then you might paint it. Then you'll have to take your little knife here after you're done. And this is what, ask me how I know. This is how you can fix it. You can kind of scrape that off and do it. But to avoid that, just don't pull your vinyl tape very tight. Just barely pull it and then tap it down and then push it down on your project. Got the basic design all laid out here. There it is. Now I'm going to take some thinner tape and put in some more line work. It is ready to throw some candy on it. For you model car builders, got you an airbrush and you want to get some fine line tape on those model cars and use some patterns, this here is a perfect tape for that as far as I'm concerned. As you can see here, barely, oh, maybe right there if I put the shadow on it, but it's a super thin tape. It looks like 0.03 inches, so whatever that comes out to in millimeters. But anyways, this is ready to go. Start throwing some candy on it. Let's keep moving. If you don't plan on painting immediately, you're gonna want to put some low tack tape on your tips, the points, the connecting parts of the tape to keep it from lifting. So whenever you go to pull this off, pull these off, pull towards the point. Don't pull against it or else it's going to pull that up with it most likely. First paint effect's going to be pretty simple here. All I'm going to do is put my little design here with the tape, put about 2 to 3 coats of candy on there, and then I'll peel this other tape off, and then I'll put about 1, maybe 2 light coats on there, and then that'll just give it a little design. Then I'll go around the edges here with a little more candy just to give it a little bit of depth. Here along the outside, I just sprayed some Orion Silver, had everything else masked off, and then put some coats of candy on there. Here on the center, I just peeled the tape off, put about 3 coats of candy here along the outside, and then I shaded around here. And then I'm gonna leave this silver right here that'll pop once I put the clear on it. Right here, I figured I'd do a little paint effect, put a little bit of slow reducer here and a microfiber towel, put some wet paint on there and just kind of streaked it out. So we got the candy streaking going on here. As I'm peeling back the tape and doing each layer, especially with these small projects, you don't really want to have to tape it up twice if you don't have to. So I'll peel the tape up from here, the patterns that will be behind it, and then I will turn my pressure down. Well, the pressure's already down pretty low, but I'll cut back the amount of paint, I'll tighten that up, and just barely put a little tiny shade right here, just to give it a little depth separation and help it look it'll just look a lot better. Moving right along here, right here on these two, I'm gonna put some white underneath the candy red, and that will make it pop, especially in the light. It'll give it like a fire engine red look. It'll kill the flake. And then I might just go just around the edges here with the white, but we'll see how it goes. Here she is in all of her glory. I hope you're all enjoying this video. If you did, think about giving it a thumbs up. I know it's a little shorter and not quite as detailed as some of my other tutorials. This is just a quick tattoo tray that I was doing for someone who hit me up on Instagram and said he wanted one for his shop. So I went ahead and knocked one out for him, and here it is. I sure hope he enjoys it and gets some use out of it. I know I sure enjoyed making it. Next up, I'm gonna hit this bad boy with some clear, turn it over after it's dry, hit the back with some more red, and then after that's dry, I will sand this front down and throw a flow coat on it, make sure it's shiny and perfect wet and looks like glass. Here it is. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, consider giving me a thumbs up, maybe comment. This one is a little tattoo tray I put together for someone who hit me up on Instagram. Honestly, this will be the first thing that, besides family or friends, that somebody's actually commissioned me to put together for him. So I'm real happy he entrusted me with that responsibility. And everyone knows just sending something to some random person you meet on Instagram or YouTube or social media, a lot of the times ends up with you just basically losing your money. So here it is. It's almost done. I'm gonna finish the video with this though, because all I got left is to wait on this to dry. It's freshly wet. Of course, you can still see the tape lines. I'm still gonna need to wet sand it, and then I'll put a flow coat on it, and then underneath it here is still all flaked out. And what I'll be doing, I'm just gonna shoot some candy on that side since it won't really be seen anyways. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you on the next one. What I got coming up next is the better video that's taken me a lot longer to put together. That would be a 1940s Frigidaire fridge, or I'm sorry, not Frigidaire. It's a General Electric fridge that's taken me quite a bit of time. I'll go into detail on that video, and then it'll be a good tutorial with a lot of detail, and it's a really good looking fridge. So I hope you all enjoyed this. See you on the next one.